It's been 2 weeks. 2 weeks since I made the Shikai tier list where I ranked them from best to worst. And 2 weeks is more than enough time for me to do one for Bankai's. So here we are today. I just want to say it's the start as well. It's going to be done inside the same order as the Shikai tier list. And just in case you haven't watched that one, basically the first tier list that I'm going to be ranking right now is going to be a tier list where I rank the Shikais against each other. And at the end of the video, there's going to be a timestamp where I'm ranking the Shikais in general inside the whole entire game and how good they are. So if I put Flame in C tier, then it'll probably be in a different tier at the end of the video. But this tier list can take long, so I'm just going to start off. And the first Bankai that we're going to be talking about is BESERK. And honestly, you might just see everything S tier in this video. But I'm going to put BESERK at the top of S tier. Now, the argument for it not being an SS Plus is because what I feel like you need to be an SS Plus is just something that's completely unstoppable, and it's like people just can't, they can't come near you, they can't block, parry, like something that just makes it so the game is unfair and you want it to get nerfed. BESERK is right on the edge of being that, because the BESERK Bankai is literally supposed to be an unstoppable force. You have your rushdown skill that cripples your enemy and leaves them paralyzed, and if you land that skill, you're able to land your grab, which you can combo extend off of with Rageful Leap. The BESERK Bankai is honestly like disgusting, and I'm pretty sure you're just like a moving train of hyper armor. Honestly, that sounds like it qualifies to SS Plus. I'm gonna go check out the passive for the BESERK Bankai, and I'm gonna decide if I want to put it in SS Plus. Yeah, the BESERK Bankai honestly is like, I'm putting it at the back for SS Plus. So I saw it. The passive isn't hyper armor. The passive is if you get hit a certain amount of times while you're inside the Bankai, you actually do like a scream that gets you out of the stun, which is extremely good. So this Bankai definitely does deserve to be an SS Plus. Plus you can do a combo into your T, to your G, into your X, and it's all true. So your rush down into your grab, into your flurry, which changes inside Bankai, and they all apply cripple and rush down. Like this Bankai, it can definitely boss raid, which is another qualification for SS tier, but yeah, it's just unbeatable. It's crazy, like it's hard to stop. And now we have Ink. This is probably gonna be my number 1 or 2, but Ink is an SS. What can I really say about Ink? So the thing with Ink is if they go to Bankai and they just simply use the domain and then they use Black Ant, if they touch you once, you're dead, like actually dead. Now, I've been seeing some YouTubers actually play Type Soul Battlegrounds, and I saw a clip of somebody using Ink in there, but I've also seen Ink users in the game, and it's literally like if you use your domain and then you apply Black Ant, which has a ridiculously huge AoE inside the domain, if you land them with 1M1, they get exploded. And I think that the explosions also work on their barrages too. So imagine a waterfall dance with an explosion. Ink also has damage reduction by like 30%. It makes you use more Ryatsu, and the Ink also slows you down if the effect is on you. Like, you can't really fight this Bankai. Plus it has a skill that seals all your skills with the AoE of a Fire Palm. Like, come on, you literally can't do anything if you're fighting an Ink user in Bankai. And that, to me, definitely qualifies it for the SS tier. And now we have Flame. I'm going to put Flame just in S tier, because when you like are comparing it to the other Bankais on this tier list, when it comes to boss rating, Flame might probably be the best one, because yeah, Flame is definitely better than BESERK for boss rating. But if you look at it in like other instances, it's kind of, actually no, it's just really overwhelming with the burn damage. Yeah, I'm gonna put Flame in front of BESERK inside SS tier. Honestly, I feel like I was about to underrate it just now, but the burn damage being put on top of you, plus Adriant Heat is a rush skill that completely goes through walls. Like, that skill chases you down and it just allows you to land your X right off of that if you hit it too. Your Fire Palm gets bigger, plus you can make zombies. So if you knock somebody and you are inside the boss raid instance, if you just simply burn them, they will get revived and use all their skills and fight for you. Honestly, this Bankai is so good. It's probably really entertaining too when you knock somebody and imagine they were trash talking you and now they're literally working for you. Yeah, Flame Bankai is really good. Like, I honestly don't think I need to say this, but any Bankai inside the game is really good. Like you really can't go wrong with any Bankai, literally. And now we have Confusion. Now this Bankai, honestly, it's good, but I'm going to put it in A tier when I'm comparing it to the other Bankais of the game. And the reason as to why is just because Confusion is mainly 1v1 based. Like, if you're a Confusion user and you get put inside a Gladiator raid, that's where you would most likely excel with your Bankai. But outside of that, if you're trying to boss through with Confusion, it will probably be like next to impossible, because your skills are all focused towards one person. Like, all of your skills, you can apply like the AoE teleport M1 hit thing on them. It's just that you're not going to be teleporting from one person to the next, to the next, to the next. Your skills are mainly focused towards 1 versus 1s, and even at that, I think the passive is when you land your Z skill with Confusion, which is the one that lets you do the teleport M1s, the person, like, their whole entire screen inverts when you're M1ing them. So it's like, it is extremely good, but compared to everything else that can do 1v1s and the boss raid, and even turn you into a zombie, is just like, yeah, Confusion is good, but it doesn't compete with like the rest of these inside the Bankai, unfortunately. And now we have Water. So I'm going to put Water Bankai right behind Ink. It is definitely in front of Flame for me. And I'm also going to play a clip of me fighting a Water Bankai user. Oh, well, you could call it a fight if you want, but I'm going to play that clip while I talk about it. The Water Bankai, you can't escape it. It's almost as if you get hit by one skill from a Water Bankai, you just die. Imagine being trapped inside a whirlpool while you're in VC with your friends, and they're just constantly telling you, yo bro, look at your HP Ryotsu. And then the water user still using more skills that put more whirlpools under you, just makes, and it's draining your Ryotsu, so you can't even flash step, you can't run out of it. It's also taking your HP, so you're going to die soon. It's just unescapable. Like, it actually feels like you're being flushed down a toilet. Yeah, I feel like the clip that I was showing probably just justifies why I would put it in SS tier. It's unescapable. You can boss raid with it, because if you're taking the Ryotsu and HP, what can you do with no Ryotsu? And what can you do with no HP? You're dead. And then we have the Shadow Bankai. I'm going to be honest, Shadow Bankai is good. It's actually really good. I like it. I'm gonna put Shadow in S tier though. And the main reason as to why I'm putting it in S tier is because, well, it's just good. Like actually, Shadow Bankai is just good. I feel like it's still more of a utility, and it's just really reliable versus something that, you know, if you pop it, you most likely won't lose to anybody. Shadow Bankai, the coolest thing about it is that you have a domain expansion, and in that domain you take no damage at all. Plus, it is completely dark, so it's like once you pop the domain, they can't really see you, which makes sense because you're hiding inside the shadows of your own domain expansion. And you also have a skill where it does like a bunch of claws that if you walk into those claws, you have iframes, and if somebody comes near those claws, you proc a Fury effect. Now the Fury effect is kind of what it says. It's like the Fury effect for the Fear Shrift that was recently added to the game, but essentially it just makes your opponent stun, and they do like a little tremble or shake because they're scared of you, I guess. Shadow Bankai is honestly just really good. Like I said, I still see it as a utility because it's not like something that you pop and it's just like, alright, everybody's gonna die, everybody should run away from me. So I think that's a good justification for it being an S tier, but you can definitely boss raid with it. It will just be like much more skilled than anything up here. These up here, you could kind of turn off your brain and just click your mouse or something. So yeah. And then we have the Creation Bankai, and if I'm being honest, I'm going to put Creation Bankai right behind Shadow and S tier. And the main reason as to why is because it's actually pretty good. Now, Creation, it can definitely boss raid better than Confusion. Let me just get that out the way. But the thing that Creation lacks is mainly just going to be skills that do a lot of damage, so it's like your opponent can't really fight back again. Creation has like a ground trapping skill, and if you use that when you're right in front of your opponent's face, they literally can't do anything. Plus, Creation also has, I think, a skill that gives them two modes, an attack mode and a defensive mode. The defensive mode essentially gives you auto parry, moving auto parry, so you can attack them. They basically can't hit you back because you have moving auto parries. And the attack mode, I'm pretty sure that's the one that actually lets you place the traps, but I'm not entirely sure on it. I do know that the Creation Bankai is good though. It's rare to see, and I've only seen it like once inside the game, because who wants Creation? The Shikai compared to the Bankai is just like there's not really any reason for you to get it because you're going to be using the Shikai most of the time. but the creation Bankai is actually pretty good. And now we have Thunder. This was my first Bankai because I actually rerolled and I ended up getting blood off of a like free reroll. But Thunder was my first Bankai, and I honestly love it so much. I'm going to put Thunder though. Is it in SS? Honestly, yeah. I'm gonna put it behind, in front, or behind. I'm gonna put it in front of Flame. Now, the thing with Thunder, honestly, I can see the argument for Flame being in front of Thunder or Thunder being in front of Flame. But the thing with Thunder is that if a Thunder user hits you inside their Bankai, you essentially can't move. So, Thunder, your M1s inside your Bankai apply a Thunder effect, and it basically makes it so that you can't M1 as fast, you can't use skills as fast, and I think it even makes your blocking slow down too, which is, you could imagine how that would feel if you're fighting it up close. Plus, the two skills inside your Thunder Bankai are probably the best AoE hitting skills inside the game. You have Grand Relay and Grand Current, and essentially what these skills do is they just auto track to anything that's near it. That's actually it. They literally auto track to anything that's near it. I think the Grand Relay skill is the one that does the boxes, and if the box hits one person, it extends to the next person and extends to the next person. It's like a chain of electric shocks that do so much damage, and they leave the opponent stunned. So their flash step is like slower, they can't M1 as fast, they can't use skills as fast. It is really annoying, and it's like extremely toxic to fight, which definitely qualifies for SS tier. Honestly, I really do love Thunder, and I feel like anybody with a Thunder Bankai can understand, like, once you pop this, the chances of you losing are very, very low. And if it comes to boss rating, it's probably like one of the best. And now we have Ice Bankai. I'm gonna be so honest with you. After fighting like a Water Bankai, I want to put Water in front of Ice, but I just know it's not like that. Like, the Ice Bankai is just really good. So I'm going to put Ice inside the SS tier in front of Water. And the reason as to why is mainly just because a game where it's fast-paced combat and you can't move makes something that you wouldn't really want to fight. Ice Bankai, the skills is like a mirror rain where you just reflect a lot of ice back onto your opponent and essentially just freezes them forever. Plus your passive is every 20 seconds or 25 seconds or 30 seconds, you just create a huge AoE of ice coming out from you under your feet, and it just freezes your opponent. You pretty much can't move and you can't really fight back. It is extremely good. Ice Bankai is like, it's such a good Bankai. But honestly, I personally feel like Water is better than it, because taking your Ryatsu in HP is worse than, yeah, I'm gonna put Water in front of Ice. Honestly, I think you just need to like have Water or fight a Water user to know how unbeatable and like genuinely disgusted it feels to fight it and probably use it, seeing your opponent die in like 30 seconds. Like, Ice Bankai is definitely still really good, top 4 in my opinion, but Water just excels it to me. And now we have Blood. I'm gonna put Blood at number 2 or number 1. I know I might be my bias because I have Blood, I don't have the Bankai yet, but now I'm putting Blood at number 2 because when you think about Ink, you literally can't play the game. Blood, you also can't play the game, but you have a higher chance of being able to play the game, I guess. The thing with Blood is your M1s inside your Bankai now heal you, and you wouldn't really need to M1. Well, actually, the main point of the Blood Bankai is to just spam click your mouse. This, to me, and Ink are like the two things inside the game for Bankais where it's just like, you just don't have to fight. Like, you literally just click one button and you win 90 to 99% of your fights. Now, to actually get into the Blood Bankai, the passive that you have for it is that your M1s now heal you. So your M1s just heal you out raw, and that effect also applies for other people. So if you're M1ing somebody and your friend comes along and M1s that person, they get health back too. So it is extremely good. Now, the next thing with Blood Bankai is going to be one of your skills, which is like a huge circle AoE slashes full of blood, and this skill is just like it's, I'm pretty sure you can parry in it, but if you see all those slashes, you're not really gonna do that. Plus, it gives the blood user blood bar back, and what your blood bar does is essentially it just heals you. Another thing to know about this Bankai, unlike the Shikai, none of the skills will take from your own HP anymore. So you are not killing yourself for using your skills. And now the main thing about the Blood Bankai, which is why I put it at number 2 behind Ink, is because if you use your Blood Art, which essentially makes your M1s a huge AoE Blood Slash, the fight is pretty much over. There's nothing a person can really do against it besides pray or like have a friend help them, but even still, your M1s just become huge AoE M1s, and even though it doesn't look like it's covering directly in front of you, like there's a gap between the M1 and the person, even if they stand within that gap, they still get hit by the M1s. And not only are you healing from landing these M1s, you're also replenishing your blood bar, which would in turn heal you over time as well. So if you're fighting a blood user, you're basically fighting a unstoppable wall, a wall that you can't approach, and a wall that will continue to be at max HP because it's healing. And now we have Wind Bankai. Wind Bankai, if I'm being honest, I'm going to put Wind right behind Shadow in S tier. Now, the Wind Bankai, honestly, I was probably going to be one of the people who underrate it, but it's actually very good. Like it's actually very good. One of the skills that you have is a tornado, and the tornado just basically keeps your opponent trapped. It's kind of like a whirlpool from water, but not taking your Ryatsu part. And essentially, if you have the tornado down, you can just like spam Kido skills, and it's like the person trapped inside the tornado cannot move. Once you're inside the tornado, you really can't do anything. I'm pretty sure you can hold, block, and walk out of it. Don't quote me on that, I'm not entirely sure. But Wind is extremely good. The next skill that you have is actually like a gigantic wind pillar that comes down. Now, I don't know what it does outside of some pretty nice damage, but it's like a wind pillar that just comes down. I think it does, like, I'm not entirely sure because the skills are just like pretty mid, but the Wind Bankai is really good. I would definitely put it in front of Creation, and I can see Wind being at the top of S tier, but this is going to be my Bankai tier list when I'm comparing them against each other. So I honestly feel like this is pretty fair. All of these things in SS plus is just like yeah, like it's just like, yeah, okay, what can I really do? S, you can actually fight it, and A tier is 50-50 to me, just to me. But now I'm going to show you the tier list of everything inside the game in general. I'm going to do it right. My microphone was muted when I was recording the last part of this, so I'll just briefly go over the list again. But essentially, all I did really move was just everything in S tier to SS tier, but essentially all I really did was just move Shadow to SS tier, and I moved Confusion to S tier as well. And the reason as to why for both of those is because they're just Bankais. When you pop it, you get a full resurrection basically, and your skills just become very, very good. Shadow Bankai, I feel like it deserves SS tier. It's just really reliable. You can use it in a lot of instances, and you also have like iframes majority of the time inside your Bankai fight, inside your Bankai. And Confusion, even though it's mainly oriented to 1v1s, it's still a Bankai at the end of the day. But this is my tier list for the Bankais in general inside the game. And as you can see, everything's in S tier or above because everything is very, very good. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe. Only if you enjoyed the video. And thanks for watching.